Hi guys, it's Cori. I haven't filmed a video in about a month because I've been moving and working here in Sydney, Australia, but I'm still here. I'm in my new apartment, new-ish apartment, and I'm still figuring out good places to film around the place. So let's consider this episode 1. It's the bar episode, one of the nice features of our new apartment, and all the alcohol bottles, if you can see them behind me, were here before I got here, let's just say. But today's video and today's sequence is going to focus on the 6th chakra, the Agnya Chakra. And it'll kind of be part of this chakra series that I started a long time ago when I started making these videos. And for some reason filmed some of them and didn't film the rest of them, which I'd like to do now. The Agnya Chakra has always felt like one of the most powerful ones to me because we have 7 chakras. They start down here at the root, in the base of the body, and then they travel all the way up towards the more ethereal realms, all the way up towards your crown. So the 6th one is associated with your third eye and your intuition. It's known as a center for psychic abilities, or if you don't believe in psychic abilities, then just your ability to interpret situations in the world around you and to listen to your internal compass, which tells you what's right for you and wrong for you. So it's really important to have open. And today we'll start in a seated meditation because meditating is one of the best ways to open this chakra and to really connect with it. So you can take any seated position that feels comfortable for you, cross-legged or up on your shins. You could even grab a pillow or a block and sit up on that. But make sure that your sitting bones can root down into something so we connect these lower realms of the body so that we can grow a little higher up out of them and reach the top of our head and the top of our body up towards the sky or towards the heavens, since we know it in yoga. So close your eyes. Begin to lengthen your breath. And here you just start to drop into your seat. So it should be something comfortable for you, but your spine should be stacked and lengthening, the sides of your torso growing long, enabling you to breathe slowly and deeply, and to become a little bit more aware of your breath. And for the next few breaths here, see if you can avoid fidgeting or moving from side to side once you've made your initial adjustments to get comfortable here. And just deepen your breath. Make it a little smoother, a little more focus on it than you might have had before you started practicing today. And take your hands up toward your forehead, bring the palms together, and then press your thumbs, both of them, right in between your eyebrows, into your third eye center. This location of your Agnya Chakra. And as you feel your thumbs pressing in there, we'll come back to this place a few times in our practice. So see if you can direct your mind's awareness right to that point. And the seed syllable, or the mantra that's associated with this chakra, is Om. You know, something we're familiar with in yoga. So we'll make that sound, or I will, and you're welcome to join in if you like, or just to listen. I like to take an inhale breath and an exhale, and then an inhale for Om. So inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale, let it go. And inhale to chant. Take a deep breath into that space that you've created. Exhale, release the breath and release your hands down. You'll open your eyes. And we'll move into a downward facing dog. So get settled into your downward dog, and for the first one you might bend your knees and stretch your sitting bones up and back and toward where the wall meets the ceiling behind you. Let your neck be relaxed and draw your shoulders a little bit away from your ears, but you're still keeping your arms nice and active. You're pressing down through your hands, and that means through your palms, through the base of your knuckles, and through all 10 of your finger pads. And then you're working your heels down towards the ground. It's okay if they don't make it all the way there. If you have tight hamstrings, the knees can stay bent for this one and any ones after, up to you. And take a deep breath in. Lengthen the sitting bones up and back and feel the sides of the waist grow long. And then exhale, keep stretching your spine nice and long. Inhale, rise up onto the balls of your feet, and you can keep your knees bent as you walk your feet up to the top of your mat. We'll come to Uttanasana, or forward fold. And again, if hamstrings are tight, knees can be bent pretty deeply, so you can bring your belly closer towards your thighs and let your neck relax. You might like to grab opposite elbows here. Let the elbows and forearms drag their way down towards the floor. And then release the grip around your elbows, round your spine, roll or press your way up to standing. And we'll come to our mountain pose here. Bring the feet in close together, big toes touching, heels a little bit apart. Spread your toes so you can ground down into your mat. Bring your hands up, palms touching at heart center. Take an inhale breath to reach your arms up towards the sky. You could look up towards your thumbs here. And on your exhale, fold at your hips. Come back down into your forward fold. Inhale, reach out through your chest, lift up halfway. And then exhale, melt your belly back down into your thighs. Maybe the legs are getting a little straighter here, or the knees can stay bent. Then press down into the feet. Take your arms around and up and keep your belly hugging in as you rise. Arms stretch up overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart center. We'll do a half sun salutation just like that one more time. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Exhale, fold at your hips, hands through heart center. They come down towards the floor. Let your neck relax. Look back towards your shins. Inhale, stretch your heart forward. The fingertips can be on the floor. Hands could be on your shins or palms pressing. Exhale, fold your way down. Push down into the feet. Keep your legs and your belly strong as you rise up to protect your spine and your low back. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Let's add on a little bit in Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms stretch high, grow long through your waist. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. And then on your exhale, plant your hands and step it back into a high plank pose. Yeah. And if this isn't comfortable for you or you feel yourself not quite strong enough in the arms, you could lower your knees down to the mat. But feel your palms and your finger pads pressing down. Push down to the base of your knuckles. You'll push your hands into the mat so your shoulders round in a little bit. That's called protraction. And make sure your legs are nice and strong. Take an inhale here. And then on your exhale, shift forward a little bit. Bend your elbows. Maybe the knees come down on the way. We'll go all the way down to the belly. Untuck your toes. Press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, take a baby cobra here. Stretch your chest forward. Elbows tight in towards your body. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, press through hands and knees for this round. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath here, feel the backs of the legs opening. And exhale, spin your inner thighs back in toward each other. See if you can lengthen a little more through your sacrum, through your sitting bones. And take one more deep breath here. And inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward and take a big step or a couple steps. Come all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Rise all the way up to standing. Remember, keep that low belly hugging in and reach high. Exhale, back into mountain pose or Samastitihi here. Where we're equal and we're balanced and grounded. Inhale one more time, Surya A. Exhale, forward fold. And let the crown of the head release down towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands if you remember. Step back with the opposite foot first. I don't remember, so we'll come to plank pose. Hold it here just for a couple breaths. Remember, knees down is also an option. If you have your knees down or if you're in a standard plank, keep your heart reaching forward, low belly hugging in. This time on your next inhale, shift to the tiptoes. Bend your elbows tight in towards the body. You could come halfway or all the way down here. Inhale for your cobra, or this time you might take upward dog, thighs lifting, arms pressing to straight. And exhale, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take 2 more breaths here. And keep the spine lengthening, keep the arms nice and active. Especially the outer upper arms firming in. Forearms lifting away from the earth while the palms press down. Maybe the heels are getting a little closer towards the mat. It just depends on the tightness in your legs, so if they don't touch, don't worry about it. Inhale, rise to the balls of the feet. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. You could step or walk or hop your feet to the front. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Keep the belly hugging in nice and strong. Come all the way up. Exhale, hands come into heart center. This time on your inhale, take your arms up by your ears. Spin the palms to face each other. We'll sit down into a chair pose, Utkatasana. Shift the weight back in towards your heels. And then you might see your knees together. There should be a tiny, tiny bit of space between them. Make sure they're tracking about over your second toe. Keep shifting the weight back and lift up out of your hips so your spine is long, ribs are hugging into the body. One more breath here, you might bring the palms together to touch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank pose. And then we're all going to lower down onto the forearms. So take one forearm down at a time. And bring the palms together to touch right underneath your face. Thumbs will point up towards your forehead, and you might find that connection point like we did when we were seated. And not pressing in too hard, you're still lifting the head on your own. It's just a little reminder to keep your awareness there. Make sure you're pressing down through the forearms, the outsides of the wrists, and the elbows. And then reach your heels toward the back of the mat. Keep your low belly lifting and your thighs hugging in. Make sure your elbows haven't traveled too far past shoulder distance. Take another breath in. Exhale, lower your knees down to the mat. Come all the way to your belly. And then take your hands into the sides of the body. Press the feet down. Inhale, stretch your heart forward. You might stay here. You might like to come into a higher cobra, pressing the hands down, or even upward dog, pressing the feet down, lifting the thighs. Have your legs nice and active in your downward dog, in your upward dog, excuse me. Exhale now, we come back into downward facing dog. And take another deep breath here. And then on your next exhale breath, we'll shift forward and step the right foot up in between your hands. It might take a couple steps to get there, that's okay. Shift it a little closer to your right thumb and lower the back knee down. Untuck the back toes. We'll press through the right heel to rise up, Anjaneyasana. Bring the palms together. Draw the thumbs into the center of your forehead. We'll come right back into that reminder. That's where our awareness and focus is today. Agnya Chakra, your third eye. And as you balance here, feel yourself connecting to that inner wisdom, that inner knowing that exists in your body that tells you, how far to stretch, whether it's a good deep stretch for your muscles or whether you're causing yourself any pain. The more we practice yoga, the more we learn to listen to that and know the difference. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down to plant around your front foot. Tuck the back toes under and we'll step back to our plank. Lift the hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the shoulders a little bit forward towards the wrists. Draw your left knee in toward your belly, and on an exhale, try to step it forward up in between your hands. Maybe you need an extra breath to get there. Lower the back knee down, untuck the back toes. Root through the front heel to rise and lift up. And first get comfortable here. Press your left heel down into the floor. Feel the sides of your waist lifting up and the arms are reaching high. Then if you can, bring the palms together. Bend the elbows, lower the thumbs down toward forehead center. And you might close your eyes here and just feel the little wobbles in your body. See if you can center your mind on your breath. And the more we do this, the more we practice, you get into layers beyond the physical level. And we start to connect through our breath to our intuition that impacts all of our lives, not just our stretching and our hip opening. Next, inhale, stretch the arms high. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee, we'll step into a plank pose, and then press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale through your nose, and take your exhale right back out. One more breath here. And then inhale, lift the heels, exhale, bend the knees. Bring your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. And then sit your hips down low. On an inhale, stretch your arms up high back into Utkatasana, your chair pose. On your exhale, root through the heels, rise all the way up. And then we'll take a more traditional Sun Salutation B. Inhale, come back to your chair pose. Take the arms up by the ears. Exhale, hands through heart center. Fold forward and then try to straighten your legs. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Come back to your plank pose. And then we'll lower down through Chaturanga or to the belly if you like. Inhale, stretch your heart forward in your heart opener of choice. Exhale, come back into downward dog. We'll spin the left heel down towards the mat and step your right foot forward. Again, it might take a couple steps to get there, that's okay. Let your hips open a little bit out to the left side, hug the outer right hip in, press into the right heel, rise up. Take an extra breath here. Inhale, press the outer edge of the left foot down, hug the outer right hip in. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step back to plank or to downward dog as you like. Take a vinyasa here or you can skip it, you're more than welcome, it's your practice. Once you're back in downward dog, we'll spin the right heel down towards the floor, step the left foot forward. Root the outer edge of the back foot down, hug the outer left hip in, inhale, rise up. And take an extra breath here to feel long in the leg, to feel strong in the legs and long in the sides of the waist. Exhale, hands come down. Frame the front foot, step back, add in the vinyasa if you'd like. Exhale, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Make sure your feet are hips distance apart and that you're pressing down through the balls of the feet and maybe through your heels, that you can lift the toes up a little bit. And take another breath. Exhale, slow it down, smooth it out. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, look past your hands, bring your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Last time, Utkatasana. Sit your hips down, thighs working their way toward parallel, arms come up by your ears. Exhale, press into the heels, rise all the way up to standing. Then step your right leg out to the right side. And get situated. There should be about a leg's length in between your feet, different for everybody. Make sure your right toes are facing the back of your mat or the side of your mat. And then also you'll spin your knee, so you might have to rotate your hip a little bit so that the whole hip joint, the knee, and the toes are facing all in the right direction. Your back toes are spinning in at about 45 degrees to protect the back knee and the hip. Then stretch your arms out long to the sides. Inhale, grow out to the sides of your waist. Plug your right hip in and stretch the side of the body long. And keep firming that leg, so press the ball of the right foot down. And then take your right hand down towards your ankle. It might come all the way to the floor. That's up to you. And stretch your left arm high. Yeah. Then think about reaching the crown of your head out towards the right side of your mat. So sides of your waist are lifting. They're nice and long. You might turn your gaze to look up at your thumb. And here, think about strengthening into your abdominals. So you're not sinking into your bottom hand. You don't even really need it. It's just there to support you and remind you to lengthen. Keep the outer right hip hugging in, so your hip and your knee are trying to stay in the same line. And take another inhale. On your exhale, look down toward your right foot. Press into the ball of that foot to rise all the way up. Spin your right foot in at about 45 degrees. Spin your left toes all the way out to the left side. And then for me, I have to rotate that knee over the left toes. I have to plug my left hip in so my butt doesn't stick out to the back. Maybe those are helpful tips for you too. And again, through this process of yoga, we begin to listen to the body. And sometimes it takes like 5 to 10 years to really listen. Stretch your left fingers out toward the back of the room. Lengthen through the sides of the waist, especially the bottom side. Plug your left hip in. And then let the hand gently lower it down wherever it falls. Stretch your right arm up to the sky. Let your neck be nice and long, shoulders drawing together down your back so they're not scrunched up by your ears. Press into the ball of your front foot and the outer edge of your back foot. Really, the whole back foot is pressing down. And lift up through your left quadricep. Try to keep that leg as straight as you can. Maybe the gaze easily turns up towards the top thumb. If not, just keep looking down at your left toes. Then we'll all look down towards the left foot. Use the top arm and pressing through the ball of the front foot, rise up. Take your hands down to your hips and turn all 10 toes towards the side edge of your mat. Towards the long edge of your mat, I should say. And it can be helpful to line up your heels with the back edge of your mat so you're sure that they're in the same line. Toes can be pigeon-toed a little bit, pointing in. Round down through the inner and outer edges of the feet. Inhale, lift up through your chest. Keep the legs nice and strong. And then belly hugs in. We'll fold forward at the hips. Chest reaches forward. Thighs lifting up away from the knees or lifting up through the kneecaps. Take your hands down underneath your shoulders. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, you might walk your hands, fingers back in line with your toes. Lengthen through the spine and draw the crown of your head down. And most of us have a tendency to sink into our heels here, and I've seen it as a teacher. I've done it myself as a student. So shift your weight more towards the balls of your feet, almost like you're going to fall forward. And then lift up through your kneecaps to have your legs strong. They're stopping you from falling. If your hands are in line with your feet, hug the elbows in toward each other, shoulder distance, almost like our chaturanga before, our low plank. Breathe, find some more length in your spine. One more breath here. And then inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, slide the hands up to your waist and push down through the feet. Keep the legs nice and strong. Come all the way up to standing. And then step your feet together in the center of your mat. We'll set up for a Vrikshasana or tree pose. You'll ground down into the left foot first, and then bring your right knee in toward your chest. Let it rotate a little bit to the right side. You might use your hand to help you, setting it either to your inner thigh. It can also come down to your calf or like a kickstand here. It just depends on what level of balance you're at. Feel the outer right hip and the outer left hip hugging in towards the center of your body, growing you up and out tall. And then you have some invitations here, some choices for you. You might bring the palms together. You could bring your thumbs to press into third eye center. And this might feel like enough for you. And it might be enough for me too. I don't know what's about to happen. Or you could choose to close your eyes and see how it feels to play with your balance. I'm falling over, so if you have your eyes closed, you might be able to not to see me. And just feel what's happening in your body. Feel any fear that arises. Or if you're able to quietly listen to your breath and to your intuition. And take one more breath here. Eyes open or eyes closed. And then lower the foot down. Come back to standing in the center. Take your hands back onto your hips. We'll switch to the other side. So ground through your right foot. Bring your left knee up and in. And rotate the left hip to the outside. See how it feels. Maybe you prefer a kickstand if you're working on balance. You can also step closer to a wall or a calf. Or take your foot all the way up towards your inner thigh. See what feels best in your body. Learn to listen to its preferences. Just try not to press your foot directly into the inside of your knee. I mean your right knee. Grow up long through the sides of your waist, firm the outer hips in. Reach out through your heart. And then choose your invitation. Place your hands where you'd like to have them. And you know, hopefully if you're at home, no one's watching you. So maybe try closing your eyes. Just see how it goes, see how you feel. I'm falling over. You can try it at a different level. You can always fall out and reset. And find that sense of quiet within you. Lower your left foot down to meet the right. And come back to stand in the center of your mat. And we'll take that pose a little bit deeper. You'll ground down into the left foot again. Sit your hips down like you were going to go into chair pose, but this time you'll cross the right knee over the left knee. And you could stay like this with the inner thigh squeezing together, or you might wrap your right toes around your left calf. Then same variation like you've been doing. You could bring your palms together with the thumbs touching into third eye center, or with a little more shoulder opening, wrap your left arm underneath your right. Bring the palms together, and then right thumb and left thumb can come into touch between your eyebrows. Sit your weight back into your left heel. Hug the belly in. And keep the thighs squeezing in together, high up towards the groin. And take another breath here. And then release the cross of the legs. Sweep your arms out and overhead to reset. And on your exhale, sit back into like a half squat here. So you can cross your left leg over the right leg. Squeeze them in together. Take the single cross or double cross. Cross right arm underneath the left this time, if you're crossing. And bring your thumbs to press into third eye center. Keep a little bit of openness in your chest, even while the arms are squeezing together. Shoulder blades are rounding apart from each other. And take another inhale. And then begin to unwind. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands into heart center. And we'll walk back up towards the top of your mat and come down to have a seat. We'll set up for 3 rounds of Navasana. So you'll come to sit with your feet kind of right directly in front of your sits bones, knees bending up towards the sky. And for the first round, you'll hold on to the backs of your legs, but you won't be using your arms much for support, just a little reminder. Roll your shoulders together down your back and open your chest. And here, feel your sitting bones rooting down. You're going to sit on like the fleshy part of your butt that's right behind them, but not all the way to your sacrum. So not like this, still sitting up and out of your sacrum, not dumping into your lower back. Lean back a little bit, heart stays nice and open. If you're feeling okay here, you might release the arms and stretch them forward. Make sure that didn't collapse your spine. The shoulders are still together, heart's nice and open. And listen to your breath here. Notice if it changed or got shorter or quicker, and you slow it down still. And come back to center. Let your spine round and chin drop down toward your chest. Inhale, open up. Reach the arms forward, lean back. If you feel this a lot in your abs already, you could stay here, or you might bring the shins up parallel to the ground. Keep the chest open. Keep the sitting bones reaching out away from the crown of your head. It's really hard for me, but you're supposed to be able to press the fronts of your sitting bones down into your mat. So your spine is long, even through your lower back. And take another breath here. Stay for your exhale. And then let the feet come down, let yourself round in. One more time. Inhale, open up. Draw the shins up parallel. Maybe this time you want to straighten the legs out. That's up to you and your body. Hold it here for your inhale. And then you might like to lower down into a Ardha Navasana or a low boat. Come so that the bottoms of your shoulder blades are just touching the floor barely. Full deep breath in here. Stay for that exhale. And then inhale. Rise all the way back up. Exhale, lower the feet down, round your spine. Sweep your knees, your shins around back behind you. Come onto all fours here. So into your tabletop position. Then lower your elbows, forearms down onto the mat. Make sure the elbows are shoulder distance apart. I usually do this by grasping my hands around the outer edges of them. And then take your hands out in front of you. This time we will clasp the fingers. So you'll interlace them. And then some people like to have the pinky still interlaced. Some people release them, just see how it feels on your hands. I kind of mix it up and do both. Press the outer edges of the hands down. Press the sides of the wrists down. Forearms and elbows pressing. Yeah? So then tuck your toes under. And lift your hips up towards the sky like downward dog. And we're coming into dolphin here. And this is a really good strength pose if you ever want to work on headstand or forearm stand or really any inversions. That helps build up your shoulder strength. And keep your breath moving nice and long. Make sure your shoulders can stay away from your ears and that your neck can be relaxed. So you can nod your head up and down. You're not feeling any tension or pain in the neck here. That's a good sign that teachers use to tell whether you're ready for headstand or other inversions or not. So if you find that you're not and you're looking to be, this is a good pose to practice for a couple minutes a day, every day. Just building up the strength in your shoulders. Take one more breath. Exhale, set the knees down, sit back onto your heels, find child's pose. And in your child's pose, you want your forehead to root down into something to give that third eye center a sense of calm, sense of reconnection. So either on your mat or folding your hands like a pillow or two fists stacking on top of each other. You will take one more round of dolphin. Last one. So reset your elbows, shoulder distance. Lay out your forearms and interlace your hands the opposite way. Release the pinkies if you like to on the other side. Press the outer edge of the hands, outer edges of the wrists, outer forearms down, elbows down. Tuck your toes under and walk your toes in closer towards your elbows. And lift your sitting bones up and back. Try to hug your ribs in so they're not splaying out toward your thighs. And you're pushing down through the parts of your body that are touching the mat. Lifting up through the sitting bones. Creating length in your spine. And a sense of lifting up out of your shoulders. Rooting down, shoulders rising. Another breath here. And then we set the knees down. We sit back onto the heels. If your shoulders bother you at all from that pose, walk your hands around by your feet and let them round and around your thighs. And draw your chin in towards your chest. Unravel your spine to come up to seated. And shift your hips around to one side so that you can straighten your legs out in front of you. We'll set up for our seated forward fold or Paschimottanasana. You might like to start with your feet hips distance apart and the knees bent, and this just depends how open you are on your hamstrings. Maybe you don't need to. Connect your low ribs and your belly toward your thighs if that's possible. You might grab hold of the sides of your feet or your big toes. Inhale, get as much length in your spine as you can. And then you could stay here if you already feel a hamstring stretch. If you need to, you could slide your heels forward a little bit more or fold over bent knees. There are lots of options for you. And though this pose will be about stretching the backs of your legs, keeping your spine long, let it also be about turning inward. So coming fully into yourself, slowing down and enjoying the silence. Really feel into the rhythm of your breath and any openness or tightness in your body. One more time, inhale. One more time, exhale. Next inhale, look toward your feet. Exhale, rise yourself up to seated. Then lay all the way down onto your mat. We'll come down into our Shavasana, our final pose. And if you would prefer to take this in a seated meditation, maybe you're in the middle of your day or you've got things to do the rest of your day, so you want to stay up and alert, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, lay yourself down, spread your arms out to the side, spread your legs to the bottom corners of your mat. Wherever you are, close your eyes. Release any control over the breath or over the movement of your body. And feel a sense of melting in, letting your muscles, any tension, relax out of them. And feel yourself supported, not only by your mat and the floor underneath you, but by something beyond that, supported by your highest self, the internal version of you that is the best version and that knows that no matter what you do or the times you fail or mistakes that you make, there's that sense of you being okay, that you're going to make it through. That there's a part of you that just knows what's right and it's guiding you on your journey through life. Take your time coming out of your Shavasana or stay there as long as you like. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. I feel so fortunate to be here, deepening my practice and still having a way to connect with students back home or just friends back home who want to practice a little yoga with me. So grateful for this method of sharing. I hope your third eye is feeling a little bit more open or that you enjoyed the practice. We will close our practice with the sound of Om just as we opened it. So bring the palms together, thumbs up to third eye center, right in between your eyebrows. Let's take an inhale together. Exhale, let it go. And inhale for Om. Inhale, stay in that silence, that resonance of your sound. Exhale, bring the palms down into your heart center. Thank you again. The light in me honors and always bows to the light in you. Namaste.